wanted to go over a few options that I've used while living in my camper to get Wi-Fi. So this is what we were originally using for Wi-Fi in the camper. It's a 4G LTE router. The name of this specific one, or the company I bought it from, is, I believe, Kuwfi, Kuwfi. And like I said, it's a 4G LTE router. It worked well for us. I used T-Mobile originally. Like I said, we switched to something else, which I'll show in a minute, but this is what we had, and it worked well. I didn't have any issues with it. Like I said, it was 4G, so you would get 4G speeds. Typically for us, it would be anywhere from, say, 3 megabits to 25, and most of the time that was plenty for us to stream. A Roku, using Netflix or Hulu or whatever, typically we didn't have any issues. I could log on to my computers or tablet or something, and again, it would stream fine. It was rare that we would have any lagging, but it was there. So what we did is I upgraded from this, which I still have it as a backup if need be. I don't have my T-Mobile card that goes in it right now, which actually I believe it plugs in the side here. I don't have my T-Mobile card, and that's what I was using for this one. I believe you can use a few different brands. It does have 4 LAN ports. So what I did here is I used this as my modem and plugged it into my router. So that's just my TV, and this just happens to be where I put it for convenience. I don't really get too much interference with the TV, but I also have the Google, there's some letters, but it's 1200 is which model this is. I have 3 of them. That's what I previously had in my house when I used Comcast, but I just plugged straight into there, into the LAN port in here, and it was my old setup. So all of my cameras work, the internet works, everything works the same. I didn't have to change passwords or do anything like that. So what I'm using now, if I go to the other side of the TV, this is the T-Mobile home internet. This is also cellular based, but it's 5G. And with this one, currently, I believe, currently it's $50 a month, unlimited data. And as you can see, I did the same thing to where I have it plugged in. Go to the other side, right to my Google router. So it's a jumble of wires back there, but the TV is always covering it. So as I said, there's lots of options, but that's currently what I'm using, and it works fine for me. Even though if you look at it, I'm only getting 2 of the 5 bars, and I'm still getting speeds of over 100 megabits. So because it's 5G, it's still plenty fast, and I haven't had really any issues with it. I will say about once a week or every 2 weeks, I do unplug it for a couple of minutes and plug it back in to kind of let it reset and reboot. Sometimes you can notice it does get a little slower, but I really haven't had too many issues with it. And again, this is just my option that I use. There's a ton of options out there, ranging in prices all over the place. This is what worked for me at the time. T-Mobile seems to work pretty good in the area. It's not what I have for cell service, but it worked for my data only. So, and I don't know what plans they have right now, but when I had this, it was $50 per month for 100 gigs, and this is $50 a month for unlimited. And with the unlimited, I've gone as high that I've noticed to about using 350 gigs in a month, because like I said, streaming and computer use, everything like that, I've used 350 and I haven't noticed any type of throttling in any way. I believe they came out with a newer router, and I never switched. I just kept it. I think within the last 6 months or so, they've come out with something new. This one works fine for me at this time. I don't have any reason to switch over or to get the new one. I'm not sure if you have to pay to get it. But like I said, I used my Google router, plug it into the T-Mobile router, which turns it into a modem. Supposedly, I've heard that you lose speeds by plugging another router in to use it. But for me, like I said, that's what I used at my house. So all of my devices just work. I didn't have to reload any new password or look for a new router name or anything like that. It's just everything stays the same. You plug it into there. It's just using the T-Mobile router as your modem, and it seems to work good. This does get warm, so I do have gaps in between here and there, and I've seen people put fans underneath them, or fans, I guess, on top with some to pull the air out, but it doesn't seem to be hot enough to really have any issues. So again, T-Mobile home internet, currently early 2022, this is $50 a month for unlimited 5G. I plug it into my router that I used at my house. All of my cameras, all of my computers, Roku, everything works. So like I said, I get about 100, just over 100 megs, so plenty of speed. That's more than enough to really do anything. We've actually had friends stay next to us in a camper, and it was fast enough for their son to play his PS5. So not saying it's constant speeds, because it does go up and down. I have had it to where I'm only getting 10 or 15 for a little while, but then it jumps back up. But the speeds have been fairly consistent before it goes up when the traffic goes up for cell service. So again, this is my backup. Works just fine, no issues. I'd actually recommend it if somebody wanted to use one, but I did the same thing where I would plug this up, and behind my TV, it's hard to tell, but there's some Velcro here, and I had Velcro on the back of that, and I just plugged it in there. And like I said, I didn't really have any interference with the TV, so I don't believe that to be an issue. I have my plugs up there, and the TV does sit back, but it doesn't sit all the way back. Sometimes I have to adjust the wires, but that's not a biggie. I'm sure there's better placement I can have for this. I just don't have any convenient windows that I can set it by. I've tried it in different parts of the camper, and I don't really get much difference, so I just left it there. So that's what I use. It works good for me. I will say I am pretty stationary. We've traveled for a week or so at a time, and the places we've stayed, the T-Mobile router has just worked because there's T-Mobile service right there. I have heard that if you move too often, then they will shut it off. I personally haven't seen it, but I haven't gone very far and I don't travel very often. So anyway, I'll put all the links for all of these in the description below. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thanks for watching.